Yes, I guess we're live. Let me confirm if that's the case. Still kind of says upcoming. Yes, we are live. Fine. So today we are going to build a note-taking app with Next.js 13 and actually, oops, didn't meant to open that. Now I wanted to do this live because I thought why not do something that can be done live properly in front of everyone. It's just a hobby project, you can say. You can call it a side project. It's not really something really important, but I wanted to do this for a long time. So yep. Can I check the chat? Yes. All right, let's see if we have some viewers. Yes, we do. We have one viewer, I guess. So let's start this. Now in this one I'm using Next.js 13 because, well, I wanted to try this out. So, if anybody's watching, let's have a chat. It will be very fun. Yes. Yes. What is imported? Yes. Heard that for the first time. Oh, okay, yeah. Let me also tweet this so that everyone else knows that yes, I am live. This might be actually, the unexpected live. All right, here we go, and we also have VS Code open. I don't know what theme do you guys use on VS Code. I normally stick to this one, but what theme do you guys like to use? Um. All right, let's now do something else. Let's decide what UI library we want to use. Okay, let's use Chakra UI because first off, I don't want to use Tailwind in here because there's a lot of work and I'm very lazy to do that. Instead, I'll go with this one. But yeah, if we go to Chakra and if we choose Next.js, it's maybe different. Okay, so you just wrap this provider, but you don't have underscore app now. We have page.js or page.tsx, but I guess we could wrap everything that we have in here into a provider, or we could just search about providers. Okay. Wrap third-party providers in your own client component. Okay, so we have now client and server components. Fine. So inside of app, we're going to have a providers.tsx. So let's do that. Providers.tsx. And we're going to say use client. Let's just copy this, and now in here it's going to be just the chakra provider, and for the children let's just make it React node, which should come from React. Okay, that's the first step. And then you just import providers and then wrap everything that you have inside of the page, actually not in the page but the layout. So just right over here, let's cut this out and let's say, well, hey, ahead and import providers and just put the children in there. Or at least that that went well. Now let's see, we have the first page which looks something like this. Let's actually start the dev server. Okay, use the workspace version. Sorry. Wow, I did not know that they made this beautiful page. Anyways, let's see if we can use Chakra UI inside of here. Okay, so we are going to just take out everything, and yes, let's use enter, but we'll see how that goes. Not this one, and then we could just go ahead and say, well, hey, I think I should probably change the title to, exploring Next.js 13, because that's what we are doing right now with app directory. All right, so here we go. Now let's see if Chakra UI actually works in this case. So I'll just put what's called where are the components? Yes, let's see. I'm going to put the good old button component. Let's copy this, let's paste it over here. It must work. It says, oh, because this is not a client component. Is that why? Let's see, do we have a next 13 issue? Okay, if you're using Next.js 13 and do not want to use the new behavior, you can either use the legacy or, but that's for the link. Yes, I guess. I don't think Chakra UI will work in a good way. Maybe we are just wasting time, who knows? Or maybe we could use maintain. But for this app, I did not want to use that. This one still has the underscore app and underscore document stuff, but I want to use Next.js 13. Oh, okay, here we go. We finally found that issue. I guess then we should go with Tailwind. I did not exactly want to go with Tailwind, but I guess we don't have a choice. Let's do that. And let's actually go ahead and discard all three changes. It has the Next.js site has a little bit of problem with copying this. All right. So we are going to have app, we're going to have pages and components. So I'm using the source directory. So everything inside of source. And I guess we should also add low byte if you don't mind. Let's remove page module. Let's go to page and let's remove all this. I know I should have started by now, but I'm exploding. We have 6 viewers. 6 views. Okay, maybe you cannot listen to me, I guess. Let me cross check. I guess it must work. But anyways, it's my very first stream, so you can forgive me for this, right? Okay, so where were we? Let's just try this out. And let's start this server. I guess it's already right over here. So it says hello Next.js, but it's not styled with Tailwind. So maybe we'd have to restart the server. And I was just like, let's use the turbo one. All right, here we go. It works. So now let's start working on it. We'll add the fonts later on. That's not the priority right now. Let's go to beta Next.js docs. Okay, so now we are going to build a note-taking app that is going to be simple enough. It's going to have color notes. It's going to have color-based notes. And it's going to be a good challenge for me at least. I haven't built a CRUD application in a long time now. And let's also add a commit. Also, let's remove Chakra UI because we're not using it anymore. So, and after this is done, let's make a commit. So add Tailwind. Okay, fine. Now let's do this. It's going to be really fun. So first we are going to have sort of a heading. First off, let's wrap everything inside of a container. Thinking in this thinking this way is kind of different than thinking the other way. Head will contain the components by the nearest parent. So we have a normal head tag and this is what it contains. So I'll just call this color node. And then in here, I guess I could wrap everything inside of main, but here we go. We got the title changed. Let's remove underline. Let's make it 4XL, and let's wrap it inside of a container div. All right, let's also add some margin to the top. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, now let's have, now I did not know what database to use. Actually, there are a lot of options. So I was thinking of trying out Zeta or Zata, but the problem again is how are we going to use it with Next.js 13? So Next 13. If that goes well, I think we can use it easily with Next 13, but hmm. Let's start this. It's going to be really fun. I think we'll have to log in. I don't remember. I guess I used Google. All right, fine. Let's delete this one, or let's keep it anyways. Let's create a database called color node, and it does not have my location, so let's select the closest one that I have. All right, now let's see how we can set it up. So first off, we'll have to do this. I guess I already have this CLI installed, but let's do it anyways. It says okay, then PowerShell, and then we are going to use this command, this init command. Let me know if you're enjoying this stream, and if you want to have streams like these or some other type of streams. Let me know in the live chat, because that's what it's built for. And that's going to take some time. Oh, there's also a VS Code extension. That's cool. Um, let's do this. So VS Code extension is for feature parity. Let's do that. Still getting installed. Then we'll also need the API token, which I have no idea where to get from. So from workspaces, demos, I guess we're not going to have demos in here, but all right, this one, I cannot access it, but I can add a new one. I'll just say, 23. I'll just call it that. Oh boy, you just saw what it is. Let's delete this, and I'll just do it on my second screen, just so that it's safe. It says connect your Zata workspace with the extension. So I'll just say get started. I'll put that, wait, type a name for it. I already have the API key. I'll just call it VS Code anyways. Yes, okay. I'll select color node. That actually looks really nice. Okay, so the color node has actually nothing inside of it. Oops, I'll just Okay, let's go back to the workspace. And so let's see how we can add authentication. So next auth is what we are going to use for authentication. The problem with next auth is you cannot easily go ahead and use what's called the username and password or email password, the credentials authentication, which is kind of a pain with next auth because there's a lot of work in that. But anyways, let's see if it can work with Zata. Yes, it can. All right, so we'll have to do this. And I totally forgot we had to do Zata in it. This is already done. Let's do Zata in it. This is already configured. What? When did that happen? Anyways, let's just force it. Select this one. Yeah, so it will generate TypeScript code. Hey, thank you. Motivate yourself. Hmm. You're going to have, let's generate TypeScript code. And we're going to have that and a branch. I'll just select main. Yes, of course. And here we go. So we have shell browse, a lot more. Here we go. Now let's see what we can do. So we have schema or JSON. I guess that there's browse, there's schema edit, there's random data. Let's see what happens if I do schema edit. Okay. Let's cancel that. So this is the output. And does it import stuff from somewhere? I have no idea. Let's see. Let's check out the docs because the docs are the source of truth. Oh, here we go. Next.js with basic auth. Does it include next auth? If it does, then let's go with it. Mm, We had Zata, we initialize, then we use get server side props, which we are not going to use in next 13. I don't think I need this. Wait, but where is the authentication? I think we will need bcrypt as well. But why is it using bcrypt? Why not bcrypt.js? Because bcrypt.js is widely used. It's published 6 years ago, and bcrypt is the one that is maybe more popular. Who knows? This is more popular. It has 14,000 weekly downloads. Mm, I guess we'll just use bcrypt.js. So like now that we are ready, we create a new Zata project, copy and paste into your project's directory. So let's do that. Schema.json, paste it. What's next? Okay, first, I think I'll change something in here. So we have users, They're going to have an email. They don't have a password right over here, so we are going to add that field. Name is going to be password, and then this is going to be of type text. I guess that's the first step. Let's also add an avatar. Should be a link, and I guess that's it. And you have init with the schema. Okay, now I get it. So I'll just paste it in and I'll use force. No, 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 no. Skip it. This is a really bad thing. Wait, I'll use color node, generate TypeScript. Yes. Link column without link attributes. Okay. This is not what I meant to say. I think it should be text. Go in main and yes, apply all these migrations. Okay, that looks good. And if we now go to the Zata extension, let's move it somewhere about here. If we go in here, no, we don't want to create a table, but we'll rather refresh. Here we go. We got users and everything else. That's fine. Now that that is done, let's go work on some more stuff. Okay, so this is the next auth API slash auth slash next auth. Let's copy this file name. I'll just put it right over here. Oops. I'll place it in here. Now this should be imported. No. Yes, it should be imported from there. Okay, because we have Google provided. No, we want what's called the credentials provider. So credentials. Now in here, there is a lot of stuff that needs to be done. We first off have credentials. Now for this one, I'm going to say, well, hey, email and password. So email and password. And then we have the authorize function, which is going to return either null or true, I guess. Null or the user, right? So how do we make this work? So in the email field, we have a lot of stuff. We are going to have the type to be email. We're going to have the placeholder to be, let's just say the placeholder is going to be your email. And same goes for password. I don't think we'll need these things anyways. Let's, because we are going to use a custom page. Okay. Credentials and request. Let's console log the credentials that we get back. Now the thing in here is that first let's work on user signups. So I'm going to create a new folder called users. Or actually rather call it, I should, oh, it should be inside of auth. So I'll just call it auth and I'll move this in there. And then I'll create a new file called signup.ts, or rather register. All right. Then we are going to have what's called a lambda function, export default async function, and we're going to call this register user. It's going to have the request, which is going to be next API request. It's going to have the response of next API response, and that's all right. Now that we have all that, how are we going to register the user? So I think I should use Zod in here for validation. Let's do that. I'll just go ahead and say, well, hey, install Zod. And then I'll create what's called a register user schema. Schema is going to be Z. Okay. Here goes my PC. It will be a little bit slow because I'm streaming at the same time. So it's going to have, first off, it's going to have the email, which will be z.string.email, and it's going to have the password, which is going to be z.string as well. Now we're going to have try and catch. So we are going to put in, we're going to say, well, hey, const, we're going to get body from register user schema dot parse, and we're going to parse request dot body. So now if we get an error, we'll just console error for now. So once we get the body, this is going to contain email and password. So now we are going to add a new user. So we also need bcrypt, I guess. So if I just say npm install bcrypt.js, then we'll also need the types. So add types slash bcrypt.js, and then let's import something from bcrypt.js. So what are we going to import? For this one, we're just going to have hash. And so let's say, well, hey, const hashed password is going to be hash, and we're going to hash body.password with 10 salts. And now let's also initialize the Zata client. So new Zata client client.db dot next auth users dot right now I'm doing anything randomly because I have no idea how it works. I'm just using it like I use Prisma. So email is going to be body.email. Then password is going to be the hashed password that we just generated, and the avatar. This is interesting because now I guess it's time to use something unique. So we have dice bear. So we have dice bear avatars, which you might know about, you might not know about. Let's see. So we have lots of avatars in here. We can also have a JS library, but we don't want to do that. We could just use the URL. We have a seed, yes. So should we also have a name? Let's pick a good one. Let's pick a good avatar. There is emoji, there is Scroodles, there is bots. Mm, 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 mm. Let's just go with this one. And so how are we going to tell it what avatar, what seed to use exactly? Now, let's see what's wrong with this one. It says object leader only specify known parties. Email does not exist. What do you mean email does not exist? Let's cut this out. Let's see, we have email, we have image, we also have image, so we don't need avatar. Okay, how do we change the schema? So if I go to back in here, yes, I can do this visually. That's better. So we are going to somehow delete this column. But even if we do this, how do we pull it back? So is there a way I can pull the changes with the CLI? So we have installation branches and git schema edit. Yes, so we have schema edit. Yeah, so I could just run this command and that's going to generate the code. All right, now we don't have avatar anymore. That's a lot better than Prisma because Prisma took a little bit of time. I guess I copied it before. Yes, right over here. Hmm. And so in the seed part, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually create a variable called seed, or yeah, let's just call this seed, and this should be image, not avatar. So this variable called seed is going to have body.email, and then we're going to split that with the at symbol, and we're going to pick the index 0, which means, if it contains that part, we're going to remove the at gmail or at ymail, all that stuff. We're just going to keep the username. Okay, this looks good to me, but it does not look good to TypeScript for some reason. It says, oh wait, okay, because this is an asynchronous operation. How can I forget that? Anyway, so this is going to return a promise to us. Let's just say, well, hey, create a new user. That's going to await, and then once it's done, we're going to return rest.json the user. Okay, that's almost done. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. I'll call this register, and I'll create a new file called page.tsx because that's how it works. Let's copy this, let's paste this. It's going to be called a register. I'll just call it register. Let's see if this actually works. I'll add a link right over here. So I'll say link. It's going to be slash register. Let's see if this actually works. So if I click on it, yep, that works. So now we have the register page, and in here, for how long am I streaming now? It's been, let's see, doesn't show me. YouTube doesn't show me. From last 38 minutes, that's very less time. So no problem. Now we have register function. Oh yeah, we have to call this register API route or lambda function. So we are using Tailwind, right? So we'll need to create a form. Now I am very lazy. I'll just go ahead and use what's called, I guess, Daisy UI. Having to create every UI from scratch is really a pain for me. We'll install Daisy UI, and then we'll just require that as a plugin. So let's go to Tailwind config, and then let's just do this. Now that that is done, now let's see. Do we have a form? No, we don't. We have an input, of course. There is text input. Let's also select a theme. There are, I guess, since I last checked it, there are a few more themes. I'll just pick Dracula with the primary color. Yeah, it has a lot of colors. Let's go with this one. So we'll just say register and we'll create a form. Without an action, we'll just create an input with the primary colors. Let's copy this, space this. So this is going to be the email, your email. Let's do the same thing for password, your password. I guess I should use React hook form because we are going to have a lot of form stuff in here. Okay, this looks terrible. The color actually looks very bad. Oh, yes, it will look bad because we haven't selected the color that we want yet. So let's go with Daisy UI theme and select Dracula. Yep, that looks better now. So this form is going to have a margin top of 5, actually a margin Y of 5. It's going to have some padding, overall 2, and I think it should be wrapped inside of a card. So if we go in here, we have a card which looks good enough. So let's copy this. There's something going on outside. Let's also put these things right over here with, I think we can omit the padding. And then this card should also have a width of full. And now we could create one more div in here. We could add flexbox. So flex, flex call. We're going to have some gap of maybe 5. And everything should be aligned properly. So we'll say item center. And then this card does not have any padding. So we're going to add some padding. Overall, this register form looks very simple and straightforward. Let's change the BG. Let's move this right here. Let's say text center. And I'll say margin bottom of 10. Okay, now it looks a little bit better. Somewhat better than before. I just totally forgot what's about the button. So let's add the primary button. So this is what we want. Should be of type submit. Register. Here we go. At least it looks a little bit better than before. So now let's have a function, an asynchronous function, handle submit. That's going to take in the E, which is form event. Should be imported from React. I don't know why the React import doesn't work in here. I will say on submit. Should we handle submit? All right. I'll just do one more thing. So here we are. Okay, for some reason it might be showing an error. it's not a client component. Okay, fine. Just go ahead and use client then. Fine. So that works. Um, hey Harshdeep, how are you doing? Uh, 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 uh. Walaikum assalam, Muhammad Hasnain Sheikh. Welcome to the stream. Now let's work on the register function, and I think I'll need Axios, so let's get that real quick. So we'll just import Axios from Axios, and now we're going to send a post request to slash API slash register. And then we'll pass in, okay, we will pass in some state. So we'll need some state in here. I guess, can we use direct API routes? I mean, in Next.js 13, thank you, Harshdeep. We'll continue doing these as much as I can, because college and all that, we students usually don't get time to explore new things, what's happening in the world. Value email. So, are you actually learning Next.js? Have you done React and all? Because maybe if you know React, then Next.js should be easy for you. All you need is some time. You have to give it time so that you can learn it. So let's go ahead and return user like so. And you can say if user in res dot data, then we're going to navigate somewhere. Okay, so you're currently learning vanilla JavaScript, or are you getting inside of Node.js, which is basically the server stuff? I think you already know Python, so if you already know Python, it shouldn't be as hard for you. Fine, then Next.js is actually a lot if you're just learning JavaScript, then should be next navigation. Yeah, it will take some time for you to get used to JavaScript and then adapt Next.js for what it's really capable of. Let's also create a loading state. Should be false, and then we go down. Hmm. Let's see how Daisy UI adds loading to the button. That's a really slow. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, to get comfortable with React, you need to get comfortable with vanilla JavaScript because that's the main core heart of React. React is full of JavaScript. So even inside of your HTML, you use JavaScript. That is basically React. Sure. Bye. Have a great day ahead, Harshdeep. So now we're going to set is loading to false. No, we're going to set it to true. And then after everything is done, we'll set it to false. Right. After this is done, we're going to set it to false. You have a lot of knowledge, Harshdeep, so won't be really hard for you to pick up. All right, let's see if this actually works. In in theory, we did see that it works, but let's see if it actually works in practical manner. So I'll just use fake filler. I don't know what the password is, but anyways, we'll just hit register. Okay, it seems like it worked. So if I go back to the database, there we go. We got our password and user. I think the password is something like PA, and then we got $sign, $sign, all that stuff. So once we have that, now we know that okay, we have the user registered, but how do we check if the user is logged in or not? So for that, I guess we'll have a page for login. And next auth has a lot of problems, honestly, with uh, it's not important, but if you are not using TypeScript, then you might be missing out on a lot of features. But if you have no idea what TypeScript is, how it works, you can go with JavaScript. But if you are not using TypeScript with Next.js, it will be difficult for you to build very big apps because I've seen how it works. TypeScript is actually great. It's something that if you try out once and if you just deep dive into TypeScript, you might not be going back to JavaScript. That's what happened to me. I hated it at first, and then slowly I understood, okay, this is the way it works. I will only use TypeScript. That's what I decided later on. Let's add the adapter in here. We'll have to import from next auth again. Okay, I guess. Let's see how we can add custom pages. So pages, a custom login page. Sign in email verification. The option is sign up are automatically based on. Let's see. So for sign in, I guess we could just place the pages in here and see. This is why TypeScript is recommended, because you get this IntelliSense. You get this really nice IntelliSense that you most probably won't get with JavaScript. Yes, if you're using something like this, uh, maybe this function, maybe you might get it. But with JavaScript, there are actually a lot of problems where you don't get IntelliSense a lot. It's called actually sign in slash login. That's what I'm going to call my route. And then let's just duplicate this whole page. I'll call this login. And so the difference is this is going to be the login page instead of being the register page. Okay, so now if we go ahead and open up the login page, this is how it looks like. We have the email, password, and the catch is how are we going to add a custom sign-in page. Okay, so we have events. Let's see, Prisma, next auth, create new users. Ooh, I'm getting a little bit sleepy. Sorry about that. Usually it happens. Sometimes it happens. Okay, here we go. So there's use form that comes from React Hook form, but I don't think we're going to use that. Mm, 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 mm. We have sign in credentials with the data. Why is this wrapped inside use callback? Honestly, I don't know what use callback does. At the top level of to cache a function definition between re-renders. Okay. Anyways, I guess I understood what it does, but let's actually recheck this. So we have session. So inside of pages, do we have a new user? New user. If set new user will be directed here on first sign in. No, I don't think that's the right one. Hmm. Let's check if this actually works if we just try to log in. So it's right over here, and let's see. I'll just comment this out for now, just to keep it simple. Inside of login page, we're going to have a wait, sign in. Nope, sign in comes from import something from next auth/react. And so we're gonna sign in with the credentials. Yeah, my PC sometimes gets really mad at me for streaming live, so wow. Okay, fine. So we have credentials, and then what was the next stuff? We have the username, actually not the username, but the email, and the password. And then we could have the callback URL, which is slash for now. And for now, let's keep it that way. And then over here, I say user equals to use auth or use user if that exists. Nope. That actually, I think it does exist, but it won't show that to me. use session is what it's called. So we have session, which says, which has data nulls, status loading, status authenticated. I'll say session dot status. Just create a p tag and I'll just say session dot status, and then get one more p tag. I'll say session dot data. If it exists, then session dot data dot user dot email, because we don't have the name. All right, let's now try to log in. Let's see if it actually works. It says extra attributes from the server data new GS. I don't know why that happens. I think that's because of Next.js Turbo, maybe. Let's see what the email was. This is the email. Let's paste this in. Let's fill this import and let's paste this in. Let's hit login. Here we go. We finally got an error, but I have no idea what error that was. So okay, it says credentials. Oh, okay, fine. So if we go back to next dot, all we are doing is just we are logging the credentials. So now we can make an actual check if it actually, if the credentials are actually worth it, if the credentials actually work or not. And I guess for that we'll also add the Zod. So I'll just create a little login schema z restart the TS server. So we're going to have z.object. Inside of that one, we're going to have email, which will be z.string dot email, and then we're also going to have password, which will be z.string. And then if we go down, we can just do this login schema dot. Now parse async, I have no idea why parse async is used, but anyways, let's use this. Then we'll await it. We'll make this asynchronous. Now we get back the email and the password. So we are going to tell Zeta or Zata, let's get the code snippet. Query all record, get one record. Yes, get one record. So we have client dot db dot users dot let's get, let's see, get first. I don't think it takes in anything. Yes, it does. Maybe not get first. Get all, get first or throw. Let's try this. Get first. You have read and then you have this ID that you use. So you create, you compare. Why is that you compare? If user exists, we have the password. Hmm. Hmm. This is really interesting because now I feel the need for Prisma. Next page, conclusion. Um, okay, so you use filter in here. This is exactly what I was looking for. Let's do that. So we have filter with the username and then get first. Right, so we'll filter with whatever the email is, and then we'll get first. And once we get that, so it should be const user equals wait. So now we get back the user, and what do we want to do in here? Say const passwords match. So match equals, we'll use bcrypt again. So let's go ahead and import that. So we have compare, and all we're going to do is we'll await compare, we'll compare the password to whatever the user dot password is. Now, yes, if not user, we are going to return null. It says await has no effect on this expression. Mm, fine. So if the passwords actually match, then what we're going to do is we're going to return, hey Savio, welcome to the stream. We're going to return the user. Let's see if this actually works now. And let's pick this email. Okay, now React context is available on server components. Okay, fine. Let's create a new component. I'll just go ahead and I'll create a new component called components. I'll just read. Okay, so we are going to see, we're going to pick this one up. And then we'll also get these ones. We'll put them inside of a div. And then we'd have to use client because all components are server components to start with. Oh, so we'll need a session provider. Now comes the real part. How do we put provider? So we'll need a providers dot tsx, which is something I did create before, but I then ignored it. My bad. We could use the session provider that next auth gives us access to, and we'll pass in the children, and then we'll go inside of layout, and then we'll just tell it to take the, actually wait, provider. Okay, fine. Here we go. It says loading unauthenticated. Fine, fine. Let's also add a link to the home page. Actually, not the login page. Just for convenience. Say login. Mm, still we get unauthenticated. See, this is why I am not comfortable with using Next.auth with the credentials and all. Let's close everything. So in the end, I guess it does return null somehow. Okay, wait. So how does it decide if someone is logged in or not? Interesting. I never thought of that. I guess I'll have to add this. And I think we'll have to add these things. I'll just go ahead and just change this to, you know, hmm. I think I should just clear all cookies and then I should log in. Actually, let's just register first. So I'll just go ahead and register. Now log in. Oh, I guess we have. No, we don't have that problem. Okay. So if I go right in here, if I don't use the client and if I use the server session instead, I'm not sure if I'm going to deploy this or not, but maybe if this gets successful, I want to build a project like this. So let's see if I will deploy it or not. I'm really not sure about that. Right now, it just seems like I'm going to give up on this project because just because of Next.auth. The credentials, I think there is a lot of work to do in credentials if you don't use the what's called the if you don't use that OAuth, Google OAuth or something like that. I think we should go with Google OAuth at least once. Let's just go with Google OAuth. OAuth. Adapters, providers. Here we go. Adding authentication is really a mess. Let's see if GitHub has a solution to this. Let's say next auth credentials. Let's add the session strategy GWT. I'll remove all the callback stuff and all that. Let's keep it simple. So we have session strategy is going to be GWT, and it also has a secret. So oh, maybe it's not in here. It does show. Oh, because we didn't add the comma. So secret is going to be just a super secret string. I think it must work now, because if it doesn't work now, then it's going to be really bad for this. Let's see, test at test.com, and let's enter the password that fake filler already does. Okay, wait. Let's go back in here. We'll use the good old use session now. Authenticated. Finally got it. Oh man, this was. Thank you very much. This is actually very unbelievable that I got it working. Anyways, session or cookie. Um, well, I guess it does store it in the cookies. If you look close enough, here we go. Here are the cookies. So it does store it in the cookies, and the session is empty. Fine, let's see. Now that we are logged in, I'll say we don't have the name for the user because we don't take it in. I guess we should do that. So let's go into the register page, and then we'll add one more input for type text, your name, and then we'll add one more piece of state. So should be name set name. If I go to the register ts file, here's where we'll also get the name, and then we'll just place it in. Okay, so I guess I'll have to remove all of these records. I don't have to, but I will, so that we start from scratch. So now I'm going to register with the name of Osman, and then put this, and then put the good old 1234 password. Now we are authenticated with test at test.com. Yes, because we did not clear the cookies in any way. Also, when we register, we are not logged in directly. Let's handle that part. It's also an interesting part, so I'll just delete this. Let's go in application. Let's clear all cookies. So now if you refresh, we are unauthenticated. Fine. Okay, so now this is where it gets really interesting. Now we're going to add authentication when a user signs up. So how can we do that? I guess there is a solution in here. So when someone signs up, you push the sign in route. Okay, that's fair enough. We can do that. So if I go back to register, actually, if I go back to the register page, instead of pushing the slash page, we could push the login page. And so Let's say Usman. Now we could say Usman at test.com. That's what it was called. And hit login. And here we go. Finally, we are authenticated. Email verified. We'll skip that part. Let's see how the avatar looks like. That's a good one. Anyways, we'll also add an option for changing the avatar, maybe, but that's something that is will what we'll do later on. For now, this works. Can I also view the tables? Like, okay, yes, I can. Now, let's see. I think I achieved everything when the authentication part is done. Now, let's design it a little bit. Okay, right now it looks really bad. Let's see if we got a nav bar inside of here. So nav bar. This looks nice. Let's see which one to pick. Um, as I could put these buttons and then this avatar, right? So I could just copy everything. And then I'll create a component called, actually, let's just create a commit. So added auth with creds. Okay, now I'm going to create a component for what is it? It's the navbar. I'm going to create a function navbar that export default. I think now it's time to use somewhat Vim. If you don't know what is Vim, let's actually go ahead and enable Vim in here. I'm actually learning Vim, so it might be a little bit difficult for me to get my hands on Vim. So now so the title is going to be called color note. That's what it's called. And then I don't think we need the form. We will need the drop down though, so we don't need the form. So let's get rid of all of these. Okay, how do I get rid of all these lines? Oops. So we could just do this and then we could just call D. And so for the profile, we have new, we have settings, and we have logout. For the logout, let's keep it simple. I don't think we need the A tag in here. We could just remove the A tag. But how can we do that with Vim? 3D? No, 3x. 3x. Fine, and then we could just, yes, sure. Is it visible now? I think it should be. I actually play around with the font size a lot. Sign out, then we have callback URL, which will be slash. Okay, so now basically this navbar, if the user is logged in, we are going to show the image. If the user is not logged in, we are going to, I guess, not show the image at all. And yeah, so we'll need to use use client hook in there. So let's just do that. I'll just go ahead and say use client, and then we will also need what's called the use session hook. So if I go down const session, it's going to be use session, and oops, sorry about that. And so if the session exists, then what we can do is we can show this drop down, else we're not going to show the drop down. So I could just go down here. I could say if session dot data is not equal to null, then we're going to show this drop down. So basically all this, else we're just going to show an empty div. So now that we have session data, we could just go in here and we could replace all of this content. We could just call it, what do we call it? Session data user image. Now I think this complains that it must have an all drop. No. Something is wrong with the source. String or undefined. Okay, fine. Now let's check this out. I'll just put this somewhere. I guess in the layout file. Like just before this one ends. Just before we put the children, I'll just put the map bar. Okay, here we go. We finally got this, and inside here we have profile settings, but the logout doesn't look good because we removed the anchor from this. So let's just wrap it inside of the anchor once more. I guess I'm not using Vim properly. I'll dedicate a stream to Vim later on, but for now, let's keep it simple so that everyone understands what's going on. Fine. Okay, callback URL should be login. So right now I am authenticated. It says cannot read properties of undefined user. Why is user undefined? If session data is not equal to null or session.data. Or means session data is undefined. So I guess if we could just do this, now we are authenticated. So basically it has the loading thing first. So now if I log out, it takes me back in here, and then we could go back in here. Let's make this a link component. Href should be slash. Now we are unauthenticated. Okay, now that we are unauthenticated, let's do this part because this is actually really interesting. So if we go back to Daisy UI, we have, let's add this item one. So we have this UI. First off, we have this div with the class of flex none. Interestingly, I have no idea why, but then we have this. So the item one that you see is going to be logged in, and the other item will be register. Okay, fine. And so I guess I should highlight one of these So if you look close enough in the Zeta docs, there is login is not highlighted, but register is. So I guess if you go to github.com, again the same thing. So let's do that. It's going to be really fun. So I'm going to add, let's see how I can make this look better. So we have menu horizontal. For the register one, I'm going to add a class name of btn primary. No, no. Yeah, so get started is the button we want. Exactly. We don't want all this. You can just tell the users to get started. But why is it like so? Oh, because we have flex none in here. This should be inside of here. Yep, fine. So we have got started. This should be btn, and let's add btn primary. And then we are also going to have one more button that's going to be login. And let's add a gap of 5. That's it, I guess. So we've got started, we have login. So get started is going to be link at chef to link at register, and this one is going to link at login. So now if I were to, okay, first, yeah, if I were to go ahead and log in, if I were to say, well, hey, Usman at test.com, Usman1234, hit login, it should show my avatar up top. Yes, it does. Finally, I implemented that. I guess I should make a video on this. All right, for the greeting, let's actually say hi to the user. So, hi, Usman. Shouldn't be this way. It should be if session.data exists, only then we are going to greet the user. So, all right. So, for how long am I streaming? Does anybody know? It's it's been a long time actually. It's been about it's been 100 hours, 100 minutes. Sorry, not 100 hours, 100 minutes. But at least we fixed the auth, added nav bar. Also, yeah, let's remove all those things. So if I go to create nav bar in the page, let's remove these. I I like this experience of Next 13. Yeah, it will take time to adjust with this one, but I really like the experience. I guess we should stop right over here. We finally got the authentication working, which is the biggest part. One of the biggest achievements of my life, getting Nextauth working with um, credentials thanks to this repository. But yeah, that's it. I hope this. I hope you enjoyed this stream. If you did, let me know how in the comments below. Let me know if you want more streams like this. I'll continue to build this app with Next 13 in the coming time, so it will still be fun. So I think we should end this stream right now. Let me know your experience in the comments below. Bye.